It's not often talked about, but I think it's something important to finally shine a light on some heroes in the YouTube community. The pranksters. It's a very dangerous occupation. In fact, there's already been two pranksters that have died for their craft, risking it all for the sake of nobody's entertainment, because that shit sucks. The vast majority of YouTube pranksters are these carbon copy clones of pranks that were popular 10 years ago for children that have now grown up and find it cringe. But for some reason, there still are channels that do the exact same pranks that were popular a decade ago, hoping that it'll catch fire once again. And for the most part, it hasn't, though there are a few exceptions for prank channels that are popular and people do still appreciate them. But I would argue at least they're trying different things. Even though I'm not big into prank content, some of the ones that are popular aren't doing the same exact shit from 10 years ago. You know, the stepping on people's shoes in the hood prank. That kind of shit that used to be super huge. There are still channels that try that and completely fall flat because no one wants to see it. It's trash. And what a lot of people learned is the vast majority of prank channels faked it. And for obvious reason, because you can't really go around with the whole giving people a titty twister in the hood prank gone wrong and expect not to get your ass beat. So they'd have to fake the whole scenario in order for the video to work, so that way they didn't end up in the fucking hospital or in the ground in a goddamn coffin. But a lot of kids that grew up on that content must have not realized that they were fake, because twice now in the last couple of years, two pranksters have been shot. One of them died. He was doing the fake robbery prank where he charged at someone in a parking lot with a knife. The person turned around and just fucking executed him like John Wick. So he got shot and died for it. And now, what we're talking about today, a YouTube prankster named Tanner Cook pulled some prank in a mall that they haven't revealed what it was yet, that ended up getting him shot in the stomach and nearly killed him. But he pulled through. And in fact, this is actually a heartwarming tale because he got shot and he immediately learned that that was great for his channel growth. So his channel grew by like 5,000 subscribers, and he made it clear in his interview after surviving the shooting and after surgery that he can't wait to get back to doing more of that content. He's an up-and-coming YouTube sensation. He does pranks where he's just a public nuisance. So he was doing a prank video in the mall, and a guy pulled out a gun and shot him in the stomach. It was a critical injury, but he's pulled through. And luckily, this has really helped open his eyes, because he gave an interview where he said he can't wait to get back to doing it because it's his passion. Doing shitty pranks got him shot, and he can't wait to go back to doing more shitty pranks. Oh no, this is the aftermath of the shooting. Where's the interview? Is it this one?
Tonight you'll hear from the 21-year-old YouTuber shot at Dulles Town Center in Virginia.
Our map.
USA 9 and 31-year-old Alan Coley. This witness capturing the moment deputies arrested Coley, who is now facing felony charges including aggravated malicious wounding.
I was just playing a prank, a simple practical joke, and the guy didn't take it very well and shot me.
Officials
Not fierce.
and even after being shot, Cook says he plans to continue making videos because it's his passion. Now giving this simple statement to the community.
Just
Wholesome.
stay safe out there.
To be clear, the Loudoun County Sheriff.
What a great takeaway. He can't wait to get back to it because it's his passion. Bothering people and filming it for your YouTube pranks. Hey, at the very least, he's not faking the pranks. And I guarantee he said it's just a prank, bro, after he got shot. I guarantee it. This is not the only time this has happened. I actually covered a story like this, I think 2 years ago. YouTube prankster tried to play a prank in a parking lot, and the prank was killer clowns or something. So he charged him with a knife, and someone turned around, shot him, and he died. This is far from the only time a prankster's been shot. She killed her boyfriend while doing a YouTube prank. That's another one I talked about. That one's like old. That's like 2016. I don't even know what the prank was. But basically it boiled down to this couple wanted to make a viral YouTube prank. So a guy held up a book in front of his chest and his girlfriend shot him. And unsurprisingly, the bullet went straight through the book, straight through his chest, and killed him. Don't know what the prank was, but yeah, that was another one. It was a fucking Desert Eagle, too. Yeah, yeah, it was. She shot him with like a fucking fat round. Desert Eagle versus Dictionary. Yeah, I guess so. Wasn't a very competitive match. A lot of people always ask me what happened to the girl who shot her boyfriend, so I'll just give you a little bit of closure to this story. She did go to jail for a short period of time and is now under 10 years probation, and she's also banned from owning firearms, obviously. So that's kind of what happened there. And it's just a really tragic story where the pursuit of clout ended up with someone dead from one of the dumbest fucking ideas of all time. I still to this day can't fully figure out what the actual plan was. They both thought that a thick book would stop a bullet from a fucking Desert Eagle. They must have been mainlining stupid juice or something, just fucking injecting dumb particles right into their body to make them think that would work. So they even hyped it up like this is going to be one of the most dangerous videos we'll ever film. And so he grabbed an encyclopedia and she fired a fucking Desert Eagle at him, which obviously just tore straight through the encyclopedia and killed him, as 30 onlookers watched on. So I guess they turned this into like some kind of spectator sport and invited friends and family over to watch. I don't know if prank is even the right word for it. I think this was supposed to be some kind of like, death-defying stunt. But there was no defying. There was just death. So he died, and that, of course, has been a very sad story because they did have a child together and she was pregnant with another child at the time. And that's kind of where that one wrapped up. I believe this was the first case of a YouTube prankster getting shot and dying as a result of a prank. So they were kind of pioneers in that field there. They were the first to do it. But anyway, let's get back to talking about Tanner Cook. His pranks are generic as they get. It's like if you ask ChatGPT to come up with prank ideas for you. It's just absolute clone of 10 years ago pranks. Being obnoxious and trying to make people upset so that way you can get a video out of the whole situation. It's just the same tried and true formula that worked 10 years ago and doesn't really work anymore. But there are people like Tanner that continue to try. I don't really know how you have a passion for making that kind of content. It's just having a passion for being an asshole, which is just a weird thing to say with pride. Now what's brutal is Tanner's own audience is eating him alive like piranhas that just had a piece of lunch meat dropped into the pond. He is getting torn to shreds in the comments saying things like, can't wait for Tanner to post the crying video and shit like that. It's brutal. Now, there's even people trying to defend the shooter, saying that maybe Tanner was doing like a dangerous prank and was shot in self-defense. I guess it is possible, but unlikely. I don't think Tanner was doing a, knife robbery prank or anything like that. He was probably just doing more of his obnoxious, annoying pranks, and getting shot for that is clearly some unhinged shit. I'm not someone that's cheering for the shooter. And I watched Mudahar's video on it, and he even revealed some information about the shooter as well that makes it pretty clear this guy was not exactly any kind of hero even before this shooting, assuming all of that information is accurate. I would wager a guess that the prank Tanner pulled was once again one of his stupid fucking, fake Target employee things where he's asking people to smoke with him and just constantly pestering him. And you don't deserve to be shot for that. You deserve to be bullied and made fun of for that. Not shot. That's not exactly a good excuse to fucking shoot somebody because they were obnoxious. Now again, I don't know what the prank was. I guess there is a non-zero chance he was doing one of the dangerous pranks where, threatening someone with a knife or making threats to somebody, and then you could probably make an argument that maybe it was self-defense. But we just don't know right now, and I'm very curious to see what comes from this because the shooter is of course being charged. Like, he didn't just shoot this guy and the cops are like, well, he was cringe, so you're free to go, sir. Like, he is obviously being charged for shooting this man. And we don't know exactly what led to it, so that's something I'm going to keep my eye on. But this was absolutely a massive fuck around and find out moment, and he still didn't learn anything from it, it seems. He sounds like plans on going right back to doing these pranks for his channel, which is just crazy to me. That blows my mind. To be so lost in the sauce that even after getting shot, it only further cements their belief that he is in the right and he is making bangers because he just got shot for it. I don't know, that is absolutely wild to me. But anyway, just wanted to talk about this a little bit because this is once again another case where a YouTube prankster gets themselves shot. That's about it. See ya. It's not a secret that I'm not a fan of prank channels. I just find the majority of them to be absolutely awful. Sitting through an entire prank video is like sitting through a funeral. It's just sad. I have more fun and get more entertainment when my hemorrhoids flare up than I do watching a prankster's YouTube content. I just find most of it to be bad. But right now, I'd like to show you a special level of dog shit. I don't know if you're ready for this, but I'm gonna make sure you are. This is gonna be a baptism by fire. I need to drag you kicking and screaming into the light and show you the final evolution of awful prank channels. This is like watching a Magikarp evolve into a Gyarados, but it's like really pathetic. This is a prank channel whose name I won't mention because very clearly they are just trying to get their name out there through very vile stunts. So I'm not going to be saying who it is. I'm going to treat their name like Voldemort here. And also, please don't go out of your way to find them or harass them or anything like that. But this is a small prank channel whose entire shtick is just actually harassing people in public and committing crimes and filming them as a joke. Committing real crimes that he himself is filming and documenting. This goofball is actually compiling evidence against himself. He's building his own case report against him. He is his own worst enemy. It's mind-blowing. I was going to make this video a few hours ago, but ended up needing to go out, and in the time that I was away, he went viral on Reddit, and I guess he panicked a bit and just went full cowardice and deleted the video that was having him go viral, which contained one of his worst offenses here. So I can't show you the whole clip, but I can still show you a piece of it and then tell you what happened next. So this is his jerking off in front of a Starbucks employee prank. Yeah, this bold little maneuver right here would absolutely earn you a spot on the sex offenders registry. This isn't just a shitty prank, it's an actual crime. It's sexual harassment. You could even make a case that it's fucking sexual assault, I suppose. It's not a prank by any means, because whether or not he was truly jerking off there, the effect is still the same on the victim. She has no idea whether or not you're jerking your tiny meat. Like, there's no way of knowing, but you are simulating it, you're making eye contact with her, and it, for all intents and purposes, it's real to her. Like, no matter what you say or do, like, oh no, it's just a prank, I was just pretending to sexually harass you. It just doesn't work. And this isn't even the end of it here. This goofy goober decided to double down, so the employee tells her boss, like, hey, this guy needs to go, he was beating his meat in front of me, and the guy acts like she's crazy, and he has no idea what she's talking about, and he makes a big scene and song and dance out of it, like, oh, what? Excuse me? Touching my penis? Absolutely not. And just continues to go on and on about it. It's so fucking infuriating. It was making my blood boil watching him argue with her and her boss about this situation. It's just so fucked up, and it breaks my #1 golden rule. Like, if I had 10 commandments, all 10 of them would say this exact same thing. A cardinal sin that can never be forgiven. Don't be rude to customer service workers. I think there is never an excuse for being an asshole to anyone in the customer service industry. Anyone who is, I think, is just a worthless douchebag.
This is our first time having Sonic. We never ate here before.
Really?
Yeah. Here, you want to fix the cup holder?
I eat it every day, so...
You're pretty tired of it, huh?
Yeah, sometimes. Should I get you anything else?
Oh, that'd be all. What's our total?
$21.33.
$21.33. Where is my card? Here you go.
I'll be right back.
Yeet. Have a nice day. Easy. Damn, my adrenaline. That's funny. It's too easy.
Oh yeah, that adrenaline rush must have been nuts. What an extreme moment here. Fucking epic prank. This guy probably damn near has a heart attack watching Paranormal Activity. What a crazy moment. You drove away without paying for a meal. I also can't help but laugh at him saying it was too easy. His smugness is so goddamn pitiful. Acting like he's just done something special, that it's a criminal mastermind scheme that only a genius with his skills would be able to pull off. Like, bro, what did you expect? Every Sonic's employee to be a trained assassin who's gonna beat the shit out of you or, like, fight you if they notice that you're about to step on the gas? What you did isn't something that requires extreme bravery and talent to pull off. You're just an insufferable asshole just constantly making customer service employees' lives miserable and making their days more stressful for no reason other than the sake of having 3,000 views on YouTube, you absolute scumbag parasite. I have no doubt he and his friend were so proud of this maneuver here, patting themselves on the back and talking about it for hours, bragging. Not only are his pranks absolutely fucking awful and literally documenting crimes half the time, but he's also just a genuine weirdo too. Look at the way he interacts with some kids at Walmart.
Hey, excuse me? Do you know where I can find the pussy at? Yeah, I can tell you don't get any pussy. What about you? Do you know where the pussy's at?
Yes,
Where can I find some pussy at?
in the back.
Okay.
Going up to children and asking where's the pussy at. I don't even get what the prank here is. Like, what's the joke? Is the joke that you're a creep and weird with kids? Like, what's next? Are you then gonna start trying to lure kids with candy out of a Walmart to see how many you get into your van as a joke? Like, I don't understand, like, what this even is supposed to be. It's just weird.
Hey, does anyone know where I can get some pussy at? I'm just trying to get some pussy, man. Ooh, nice bike. I like this bike, I want it. Hey, I'm just trying to get some pussy.
He's really exhausting the where's the pussy at segment here, but I mean, it's hilarious every time, I suppose. So now he's in the back of Walmart asking where's the pussy at, and then decides to try and steal a bike. So he just starts walking out with the bike, and an employee stops him saying like, hey, don't do that, get out. Then our insecure prankster gets an attitude about that, and I guess gets very salty, because then he just continues to insult the employee who's just doing his job and asking him to leave. Like, if you want to be an unbearable douchebag for your shitty prank channel, that's one thing, but why continue to stay there and make a bigger hoopla out of this than there needs to be? He asks you to leave, you could just leave, like you already got your shit content anyway, and now you just look weak even to your subscribers who start wondering, why are you now getting so offended?
Dude, get out.
Dude, who the fuck are you, man?
Get out. Come on.
You're a manlet, you're 5'5". I'm not afraid of you.
Okay.
Calm down. You're a
I'm
worker.
not gonna do anything.
If
I'm
you
not
put your
gonna
hands
do-
on me, I'll fucking sue you.
I wasn't going to. Get out.
You're a manlet.
Okay, can you get out? Yo, come to the truck, dude.
You're a small man. Are you mad?
I love the camera pan because his friend is the same height as the employee that this guy's making fun of for his height. So his friend's just kind of a cuck. Like, oh, haha, yeah, that guy's short. Ha ha ha, isn't that right? Ha 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 ha. This isn't nearly the end of all of the awful content this guy's made, but I don't think I need to torture you with more of it. It's just terrible. The majority of prank channels are fake. Clearly this one isn't, and it happens to be one of the worst channels I've seen for pranks. It's just fucking awful from top to bottom. And I just figured I'd talk about it since I've made a lot of content making fun of prank channels before, so why not make fun of the worst one? So yeah, that's really about it. So yeah, it's finally here. Today's the day. Count your lucky stars and all your blessings that you were able to live long enough to experience this historic moment with me. The worst prank ever. An achievement that I don't bestow upon anything lightly, but once I go over this with you, I think you all agree. This is the worst prank that has ever been done. Behold the glory of the sucker punch prank, where a man on TikTok suffering from a terminal case of clout delusion is claiming that his series of attacks on strangers in a park is actually just part of his highbrow comedy series of pranks. I'll break the prank down for you because it's a pretty complicated one. So he went to a park and then sucker punched 2 strangers in the back of the head, and then threatened them with a gun, and then asked for one of their cell phones. Are you laughing? I mean, how could you not be? Haha. Really, timeless classic humor, really. I mean, that's a gut buster. That's some side-splitting comedy. He's been arrested for it, to no surprise, because he went up and just blatantly assaulted people and is calling it a prank. And then he even did an apology press tour where he was interviewed after the fact. Let's go ahead and take a peek at it.
We're learning more about one of those social media pranks that is hardly funny.
A 19-year-old runs up on 2 unsuspecting people and sucker punches them in the back of the head.
Yeah,
This is not a prank. He just blatantly runs up and assaults 2 strangers while his friend is filming it.
Well, he's regretful. Honestly, I didn't expect him to answer the door, much less come out and talk. But tonight he says he regrets the behavior so many are now condemning online.
I'm not omniscient, but I'm going to tell you with 100% certainty, the only thing he's regretful of is that he's getting punished for it. That's it. He doesn't regret the actions.
Park, where he's accused of randomly punching strangers. Do you regret it?
Yes, I do.
19-year-old Alfred Lewis spoke with me about how he feels about it now.
You know, I just made a mistake, and everybody makes mistakes.
It's incredible how quickly that statement made me want to puke. I've never gone from feeling okay to ready to just expel bile like a fucking exorcism quicker than that statement. I've just made a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. You fucking assaulted two strangers. They could have easily died from this. Blows to the back of the head are extremely dangerous. Sucker punches are extremely dangerous. You combine these two cowardly forces into this unholy fusion dance of degeneracy. What fucking mistakes are you talking about? This is planned, premeditated assault that you filmed the crime of. It's fucking crazy how dumb people have become. And dangerously dumb at that.
This is the video in question, first shared with KHOU 11 via the Nextdoor app. In it, you can clearly see Lewis striking a man in the head from behind before he turns around in shock.
Obviously, sucker punching is a super cowardly thing. I think the second you throw a sucker punch, you lose your right to call yourself a man. I think it is one of the single biggest bitch-made things you can do that instantly loses the respect of pretty much everyone in the world. But this guy takes it a step forward. This fucking coward not only throws a sucker punch, he throws it to the back of their head. Is there a single bigger pussy on the planet? I don't think so. I challenge you to find someone that's a bigger pussy than this guy, because not only is it a sucker punch, it's a behind-the-head sucker punch, which is, of course, the most dangerous punch you can ever throw. Blows to the back of the head are no laughing matter at all. It's extremely fortunate in this case that nobody ended up dead from this. What he's done is foul. It is downright sickening. It is, by all definitions, just an assault on two strangers that have done nothing wrong. Out of nowhere, just a completely random, unprovoked attack that they filmed. And I just have to point this out, the punches that he throws are the most pathetic punches that video cameras have ever had the misfortune of capturing in the history of moving pictures. It is unbelievable how awful these punches are. He throws it horizontally like this, and he hits him with this part of his hand like he's trying to knock on a door. The reason that he brings a gun, I imagine, is because he knows if anyone tries to fight back after getting sucker punched by him, he would get his ass beaten and eaten. So he brings the gun as a deterrent so he doesn't end up getting fucked up. But I still can't get over these pitiful little patty cake punches that he tosses out there. They're not even knuckle sandwiches, because he doesn't use his fucking knuckles. They're like, Weenie Hut Juniors. Like Sloppy Sally's. I don't even know what you'd call a punch like that. It looks like he's starting to go for a classic motorboat move where a stripper throws her tits around like this, but he throws it as a punch. It's fucking crazy.
I know from the video, all you see is the bad part about it, but what people didn't see was that I shook his hand after and how I had gave the man a hug.
By hug, are you referring to the chokehold you put one of them in after you asked for their cell phone, threatening them at gunpoint?
He initially held the complainant at gunpoint. Then, when the complainant refused to give up his cell phone, he hits the complainant in the head and puts him in a chokehold.
His statement here actually had me pause the video the first time I watched it and sit back and just reflect on the state of the world. This guy just said, "You only see the bad parts about my assault. You didn't see the good stuff, where we shook hands after and I gave him a hug." What the fuck? What in the world? Oh my goodness gracious. That was a real statement said by him. Let that sink in. Let that marinate. Just let that stew for a second. After I sucker punched this guy, threatened him with my gun, put him in a chokehold, we shook hands. We were totally fine. He understood it was just a prank. I mean, I said it was just a prank, bro. Yeah, let's play with this for a moment. Hey, so I went up and I stabbed this guy for my TikTok prank, but don't worry. It was, of course, in a non-vital spot. He's going to live. And we ended up becoming really good friends, and I kissed him on the lips, pat him on the ass and told him, "Get to a hospital, buddy, and thanks for being a part of the content." It's fucking wild. This whole idea of, public assault is a prank is something everyone on the internet has made a joke about because of how extreme pranksters have been getting with just becoming either public nuisances or doing public assault on strangers. He's not the first one to do this, he's just the first one to do it in this way, with actually just beating people up in public and calling it a prank. And it's something everyone has joked about, saying like, yep, that's the trajectory we're on. And we're there. Hey, we did it. We made it. We're at the point where now sucker punching and threatening people with a gun is something that I guess some people on TikTok view as a prank.
That is something we cannot verify, nor can we confirm that another man seen in the video getting punched and grabbed later left on good terms, according to Lewis.
I really didn't expect for it to just go so left, you know?
I mean, honestly, who could have seen this coming? I don't think there's anyone out there that could have predicted this outcome. You know, what, you can't just punch strangers in the back of the head anymore without people getting all up in arms and upset about it? Pfft, God, we've all become so soft now. I could have never imagined this would go so left.
And your mom's probably disappointed.
Yeah, she is.
Lewis said the harsh reaction to the video will make him rethink his behavior and hopefully be a lesson for others.
Before you go out and you do anything that you feel is bad or that could look bad, make sure like people know, or just don't do it at all.
It's a lesson I don't think anyone in the world needed to learn, because we all know that. We're born with that knowledge. We know not to just run up on complete strangers and brutally fucking assault them by hitting them in the back of the head with a sucker punch. I think everyone knows that. Like, you have to override that intrinsic trait that we're all born with. The only lesson here is that this guy and his friend are extraordinarily stupid and they need to go to jail for what they've done. You assaulted two strangers, threatened them with a gun, you need to go to prison for that. You can't do that. It's illegal. That's the lesson. Full stop. There's nothing about like, well, if you're about to do something that could make you look bad, maybe don't do it. It's not that. You did something bad. It didn't just make you look bad, you did something very bad. And now you should face the punishment for it. That's the lesson. That's the only lesson here. But I want to point something out. We just reached an extremely dangerous milestone in our development as a species. Like, the level of brain rot and mind poison that people are experiencing now has started to convince at least some people that sucker punching and pulling a gun out and threatening someone with it is not a crime, it's a joke. And they'll do it for social media attention. You remember Y2K, like the fear that the world's ending in the year 2000, technology's gonna come and fuck us in the butt while we're all sleeping, it's the end of it? Well, maybe they weren't super wrong, they just had the calendar miscalibrated, they didn't, adjust it properly to account for daylight saving time, the angle azimuth, all those calculations. Maybe they meant it in this way, where in 2023 years after the death of Jesus Christ, we have reached the point where technology is turning people's brain into fucking mush, and it's turning them into monsters that will just assault people because it could get them attention online. Just food for thought. Maybe Y2K wasn't the most outlandish thing ever. Who really knows? But yeah, I mean it when I say, this is the worst prank I have ever seen now. Without question. That's about it. See ya. I don't like most pranksters. I'll give you a moment to recover from the shock of me saying that out loud. I know some of you have speculated that for a long time, but I'm just gonna hit you with the truth point blank. I am not a fan of most modern pranksters. Whew, it feels good to get that off my chest finally. It's a weight off my shoulders. Today I want to make fun of some douchebags that pull pranks in Walmart, because Walmart has become a hotspot for the worst pranks ever by the biggest douchebags on the internet. TikTok has contaminated the minds of many young people into thinking that Walmart is only inhabited by NPCs that are there to be used for your awful TikTok videos, so this has only been growing in popularity, and only getting more and more insufferable to watch.
Shopping like us. What do you mean, what are we trying to do? We're shopping. We just do it differently.
So the quirky prank starts out here as shopping carts stacked on top of each other and throwing them into the top one. I don't know what's supposed to be entertaining about that. Maybe for like a 6-year-old to clap it like, whoa, look how high that is. Whoa, that's not usually how you shop at Walmart. Whoa. It's not even like a prank or a joke. It's just so lame. It's so unbelievably lame.
The cart's down, or I will call the cops and they can come and ask you.
You thinking what I'm thinking?
This is discrimination against vegans.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
That's okay, guys.
Who are you?
Snitch.
Well, I'm security. You're fired.
I'm allowed now to say you guys are fucking idiots.
Ordinarily, I'd agree with the guy saying that they're fucking idiots, but unfortunately, they're just insufferable assholes playing to the TikTok algorithm that is perpetually feeding terminally online children this kind of content for them to consume for 1 minute and then forget it ever existed. Because parents don't want to raise their kids anymore, just set them in front of the iPad, it's easier that way, and have the internet do it. So all they're doing is providing noise for these kids to be stimulated by for a short period of time. Their humor here is XD random shit, so they're trapped in like 2011, if it wasn't obvious from the main guy's haircut. He looks like he's still the lead singer of like a fucking experimental emo band from 2006. Goober looks like he's gonna pay you to be in the top 8 of your MySpace so that way he could promote his new Broken Side collab. But yeah, they're just going around being disruptive. They were asked nicely to just take it down because it's stupid. They refuse and then they get all aggressive about it, putting up a big stink. And again, their humor is XD random, so he's like, are you thinking what I'm thinking? It's discrimination against vegans. Haha, holds up spork, does the narwhal bacon at midnight. So fucking cringe.
Oh yeah? You're a jerk.
Fuck you!
Can I grab the cookies?
Let's go. I want.
We need to make a game plan here. What's the game plan?
Walk away.
And we don't look back. We don't look back.
They need to go back to Tumblr isolation ASAP. Like, good lord, don't let them out of the SCP containment facility. The cringe is unfucking bearable having them out in public. I just have a feeling Steve-O felt a pain in his ass as a hemorrhoid flared up having this guy wear his shirt while saying, can I grab the cookies on the way out? It's so awful. Like, there's no prank here. There's no entertainment here. It's just unbelievably fucking lame. So now they're just walking away from the cops. One of them's in an NPC shirt, so I'm guessing he's trying to lean into a character or something, which of course doesn't work at all. It's just trash.
Let's slow motion.
We fucked up big.
God damn it. Shit. Alright, I'm back in my safe spot.
Start walking to the car.
That's where the hard part is. Now, is this it?
Smells like it. Get in the fucking car.
That
Tastes
is.
like it? Sure does taste like it.
Oh, man.
Close the door, sir. No, shut the own damn door.
Damn it. I can't believe we're not accepted.
Sorry.
It's so painfully annoying. The way he licks the car and goes, sure does taste like it. The only prayer we can have here is that he licked bird shit. Like, they just know they're not actually going to face any repercussions for this. So they just take the piss out of it in the worst way ever by pretending like it might not be their car, so they're knocking on it to check, licking it to check. Oh. It hurts. It just actually fucking hurts that content like that is popular on TikTok. Not that it's surprising. Like, of course it's not surprising. With the brain rot that's running rampant, it is anything but a shock. It just fucking sucks. But let me go ahead and show you a little bit more of a destructive Walmart prankster.
What's up, guys? Today we're in Walmart.
Ah yes, the timeless classic. Knock shit over and leave, forcing the employees to clean up your mess and pick everything up. Good one. That's the entire joke right there. Just rides a bike into it, knocks all that shit over like he was bowling with it, and that's it. And it was so good, he said, I'd like to try it a second time. If there's any justice in the world, that would have played out like a Looney Tunes cartoon where each one of those containers was filled with bowling balls and anvils, so when he hits it, he just gave himself a severe concussion. But unfortunately, we don't live in a cartoon. We live in this fucking cringe society where this gets millions of views somehow. I don't know why I'm saying somehow. We know how. Because it's kids. I know that's like the biggest cope in the world, but it's true. It is only kids watching this. If you go to the comments, every single fucking comment is from a child losing their mind over how savage it is and all of that.
What in tarnation?
What's going on?
Just those 2 cookies.
This one doesn't necessarily take place at a Walmart. This is just a little bonus here that I saw today. It's just this douchebag acting like a 4-year-old. That's the joke. So he takes 2 cookies out and says, just those 2, ring those up for me, please. And he puts as many sound effects as possible in here. Like, he crams as many sound bites as he can possibly fucking fit in this video, because he knows that that's the audience. Kids that need constant, like, referential sound bites and shit to stay hooked. And, like, the actual content here is nothing. Like, nothing happens. He puts the cookies there. The cashier wants nothing to do with him. He's fucking bored. He's over it immediately.
Wait a minute.
How much?
I get paid enough for this.
Wait, what are you doing? Are you calling someone? No, look, I took it out from the box right here. I got like 50 cents.
If you ever see someone being this uninterested in what you're doing, you need to take a long, hard look at the mirror and wonder where everything went wrong. This is a video that you couldn't fucking squeeze out of me for anything in the world. If I had filmed something like this, I would never let it see the light of day. I would break every fucking phone. I'd get all of the security camera footage to erase the existence of this moment happening. It's so fucking embarrassing and shameful. Yet this guy not only proudly posts it on his TikTok, but then he edits it to fill as much space as possible with fucking sound bites. It is so embarrassing.
Like, I opened the box and I just took 2 cookies out. You have to buy the whole box? Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Here comes Karen.
I think I'll buy the whole box. Nah, I don't know him.
Oh my god, that just sends chills up my spine. Not only did they just completely have no interest in this garbage that this guy was trying to pull, they caught him with his pants down, hand in the cookie jar here, and called him out for recording a bad prank, and then they all just look at the camera. And you can tell that the main character here also gets super uneasy once he's found out the ruse is kaput. Holy shit, it's so shameful. But he still posted it, so I guess it wasn't too shameful for him. Half the people on TikTok don't even know what that word means, clearly. Yeah, I just wanted to show these pranks and make fun of the assholes in them a little bit. That's it. So yeah. A couple days ago, there was a big news story that came out about an 8-year-old kid who was turbo pranked by the prank god. It was in a Target. He was told that they were filming a Mr. Beast style video, and it was a blindfolded shopping cart challenge where they'd be given 30 seconds with him and his dad to get as much of the toys that they could into the cart, and he'd buy it for them. And the prank was, he didn't buy it for them. Instead, him and his friend just ran away giggling, and then both probably had to start hyperventilating into a paper bag in order to come down from the adrenaline rush of lying to an 8-year-old for their YouTube video. And this became a bit of a big story because you've got to be a pretty psychotic douchebag to prank an 8-year-old, but an even bigger, ghoulish asshole to prank a hearing-impaired 8-year-old whose dream it was to be part of a Mr. Beast video. So let's go over this whole situation as well as his response, because this shameless lobotomite actually came forward and put his face on it, whereas previously, no one really knew who this was. But now, the mayor of Doofus Town has come forward with a press conference here in order to address it personally. So I can't wait to show you what this guy looks like and how he tries to rationalize it.
Saturday for 8-year-old Gabe Lyles and his dad TJ, until 3 men walked up and said they were working with the YouTuber Mr. Beast.
Said that they wanted to do a fill the cart challenge where we would be blindfolded. Within 30 seconds, whatever we could put within the cart, they'll pay for.
That was the whole premise of the prank, and this is pretty much what modern pranks are. Just being as cruel as possible and making strangers' days just worse for the sake of your own content to try and fill your completely worthless, dead-on-arrival, doomed-to-failure TikTok career. Now, I'm going to skip around a little bit and show you a clip from his response because he's refuting the claim that he labeled it a Mr. Beast video to the kid and his dad. Not that it really matters that much, that doesn't really change how fucking degenerate this garbage is in the first place, but I will just show you that because he's trying to make it seem like in his response he's in the right, and that the dad is a liar, and insinuates that he's lying for the sake of clout, which is absolutely hilarious, the lack of self-awareness to make a claim like that from his position.
We're working with the YouTuber Mr. Beast.
We're kind of like Mr. Beast, not really though.
So this is coming from his unedited video that was filmed, but it's extremely possible that he's leaving out the shit that makes him look much worse and corroborates what the dad was saying. But regardless, let's say he's being 100% truthful here. Even just watching that clip, I think it's extremely easy to recognize why it'd be confusing and people would think that he was coming up like he was associated with Mr. Beast. He fucking ambushed these people in public and then said, it's time for a blindfolded shopping spree challenge, and then mentioned Mr. Beast. Like, I'm imagining he's coming from a privileged background where this maybe isn't that big of a deal, but to a family that doesn't come from that kind of background, this is a like dream come true moment. So just getting that opportunity, immediately your heart's going to be racing and you're going to, you know, maybe mishear a couple of things in excitement, not maliciously. So I don't think the dad was lying on purpose here, and he does name drop Mr. Beast, so that's something that would absolutely stick with you after the fact. So I think it's very easy to get confused that this guy is associated with Mr. Beast. I don't think he was making that claim in order to lie on purpose here.
Mr. Beast is one of Gabe's favorite YouTubers. He often makes videos about challenges where he gives away free stuff. So TJ and Gabe believed that the men were working with Mr. Beast. They both put on a blindfold and started filling their cart. And then TJ heard the men running away.
I legitimately think being a prankster is one of the most pathetic things you can ever do with your life. I actually have more respect for people that'll just lick the toilet seats clean at a gas station. At least they're providing some kind of public service, whereas pranksters do nothing but bring the rest of the world down. It's like the last-ditch effort for talentless losers to try and make some kind of name for themselves or get some kind of attention or monetization out of like viral videos that are designed to make people hate you. So you're basically just turning your whole life into a punching bag and a spittoon for everyone to spit on you for, and hope that you get a couple of doubloons out of it along the way. There is nothing more embarrassing. I'd even go as far as to wager that if you ran a long-term scientific study on pranksters, you would find a high correlation behind being a prankster and being a cuck. I think one of the core things that drives someone to being a prankster is having a humiliation fetish, which is no different than cuckoldry. But at least with most cuckolds, it's a private fetish between consenting adults, whereas pranksters, their humiliation fetish has no one consenting to it and is just subjecting the public around them to it. It's making them victims of their humiliation fetish. All in all though, I just can't fucking stand public nuisance pranksters. Absolute dog shit content and absolutely horrible fucking losers. I just don't understand how someone has so little shame to prank an 8-year-old and think that they're somehow like a badass or a good prankster.
My heart sank, 100%. The very last thing in this world I want to do is hurt him.
It broke my heart because I thought my dreams were coming true.
The shopping cart challenge was just a mean prank, and it was one comment in particular that upset TJ.
My son leaned in and said that he couldn't hear them because he had to wear hearing aids, and they said that's why we are choosing you for this challenge.
It is actually heartbreaking listening to the kid talk about this. It's very clear this meant a lot to him. This is like a life-changing moment for a child. Like, to actually have your dreams come true, your favorite YouTuber is doing your favorite challenge with you, like that's something so special that he'd remember for the rest of his life. And now it will still be something he remembers for the rest of his life, but in a very negative way. He'll remember this as the day he realized he can't just fucking trust people in the world anymore. It's like the first time you get scammed in RuneScape. Now the father mentioned that the child is hearing impaired and that the pranksters said that, you know, that's why we want to do this challenge with you. And this is something that the prankster in question is once again refuting.
And they said that's why we are choosing you for this challenge, because of the hearing loss.
Huh?
Do you guys want to be in a quick video?
The Southington town.
And that's his proof that he didn't know about the hearing impairment. That one literally split-second clip. Not exactly the most robust evidence. Didn't build the best defense case here. Once again, he very easily could have just cut out the part where the hearing impairment was mentioned. I don't know what was or was not said there. I don't have access to the security camera feed there at the store or anything. But I'm much more inclined to believe the father and the child here, the victims of the prank, as opposed to this fucking asshole who very easily could just not show those parts.
The Southington Town Commission for Persons with Disabilities gave TJ a $200 gift card. and Target matched it. On Sunday, Gabe's dreams of a shopping spree came true.
I pick out Nerf guns, water balloons, and water guns.
At least there's a happy ending to the story. He did get to have his shopping spree and get the toys that he wanted to get. And he seems to have like a really great positive attitude in general. So I'm super happy to hear that there was some kindness shown his way to let him actually be able to do the shopping spree. And now I want to add on to that happy ending by insulting the prankster who proudly showcases himself as the one behind it. So let's make fun of this asshole.
Before we continue the video, I just want to clear the air for anyone that hates me right now, that wants to rip off my beard or shave my eyebrows or rip my ears off or something.
It's almost sadder than the prank itself that he called that little pube patch on his chin a beard. That's not a beard, man. It's a group of taint hairs on your chin. That hair on your chin is what most people have on their gooch. I really hope you don't go around saying that you have a beard, because that's even more embarrassing and delusional than you thinking that pranking an 8-year-old for your TikTok or YouTube channel was a good idea. The fact that you call that a beard is sickening. Also, I love that he immediately tries to showcase his quirky personality. Oh, you guys must hate me and want to, pull my ears off. How wacky and random. So this is like the personality of a prankster. Fucking lame as shit. I already know this is the kind of guy who, when hanging out with his friends, makes stupid faces and goofy noises in order to be the clown, in order to make people laugh, like he's performing at a child's birthday party.
I did not know that kid was deaf. I did not know that, alright?
It wouldn't have mattered whether you knew or not. You would have still done and posted the prank all the same. In fact, you can't even help but smile about it right here. Can't even pretend to care for a single iota of a second. I also couldn't help but notice that he's got the no parking sign behind him and another sign behind that. So this fucking goofball is one of those dumb idiots that steals public signs and proudly puts them in their room. We made fun of people that did that back in college, fucking 8 years ago. For those that don't know, it was a little bit of a trend for a while where people would get rowdy or they'd be drunk and they'd like steal a public sign, like a no parking sign, and they put it in their dorm room. And those people got relentlessly bullied for it because it's so goofy and embarrassing to think that it's cool. And yet this guy's still living in a fantasy land where he thinks it's like hard or cool that he stole these signs and he's proudly displaying them in the background of his videos. This guy's whole life is designed around being a professional loser.
And the dad is exaggerating it and lying to the news because what happened. I thought it was funny, but I also was kind of mad because he lied about me and my friends, and that kind of got me upset because it didn't get me upset because he deserved the money. He got the money out of it, but he tried to make us look like we were super bad guys. We were just being bad guys. All right.
Well, that clears it up then. All's right in the world. They weren't being super bad guys. They were just being bad guys. Just the classic prank an 8-year-old, get their hopes up, make them believe their dreams are coming true before you bring that all crashing down and then use them for your content to try and get some kind of money or career out of it. Not super bad guys by any means, just like moderately bad guys. So, makes sense now that he's really helped clear the air here and clear everything up. So yeah, this guy sucks, his friends suck, pranksters in general like this suck, fucking public nuisance pranksters are horrible. That's about it. So yeah. Another day, another pathetic YouTube prankster making the world a worse place. Desperate for clout, a new ghoul has taken a bite of the forbidden fruit known as trash pranks. They wanted attention from the internet, but in fact, all they got was attention from authorities since they were arrested because they did something truly foul. A 22-year-old man from Belgium aspired to be the next great YouTuber and hatched this idea where he would dump a bucket of shit and other fluids onto train riders for his YouTube channel. According to the prosecutor's office, he would fill buckets with diverse substances like paint, excrement, and food and then throw them at passengers, basically just making stink bombs. Obviously, the motivation here was to become a social media sensation, a superstar. This was his ticket to the big time. He wanted to create a career out of this shit, put his name up in lights, but instead all he got was his name on a rap sheet here. I also appreciate that most of the sources reporting on this story aren't using this guy's actual name or even his online handle for the most part, which I think is great because clearly it's all for attention, and if nobody knows who this is, the only attention he gets is from his fucking parole officer. That's the only person that knows his name now. So let's go ahead and show you the video. I have to mute the audio because of the music, but here's our protagonist. He's out collecting his ingredients and he's making a strength potion in that bucket, old school RuneScape style. He then gets his secret ingredient to the Krabby Patty formula here, dog shit, pours it in the bucket, and then gets a bunch of leaves, puts those in there as well, and mixes it all around, and he's ready to begin his adventure. He's currently being charged with assault and battery, damage to property using violence, and property damage for this stunt here. And I hope the cameraman also faces some charges too for enabling this, filming it, and just being an accomplice to this degeneracy. This loser immediately ran away from the scene of the crime, knowing full well every single person on that train could have absolutely beat his ass. He just sucks. This guy super sucks. I wish he had done us all a favor, and after mixing the dog shit into that bucket, he just drank it. It'd be an infinitely better outcome if he was just doing this garbage to himself, as opposed to just randomly assaulting strangers on a train to try and get clicks to his dead YouTube channel, to try and find meaning for the life that he's lived that has amounted to absolutely nothing besides being reduced to a public nuisance. It's so frustrating just how common this trend is, where people will just do extreme things at the expense of others to try and get any level of attention. Even though it's overwhelmingly negative, to them it doesn't matter because views are views, and they hope that some of them will stick around just to hate on them, or maybe a couple of them are equally as brain rotted as they are and actually enjoy it. And it's just become this fast track to at least getting some type of eyes on you, which has made it extremely appealing for young people to try. We've reached that age online where so many people have grown up their entire lives with access to the internet, so they've seen a lot of creators do similar things and get a full career out of it. And that makes it very enticing for them, so they also want to try, because clout is a disease more addicting than heroin, and everyone wants a piece of it, so they see that pranks always garner some type of headline and people talk about it, or playing the villain online gets some people to find you. And in the modern day and age, the worst thing you can be is invisible. Or rather, the worst thing that can happen to you is being normal. Like, if you don't have a social media presence, if you're not constantly on the grind to try and be a social media influencer, then you're worthless in some people's eyes. It really feels like for younger people, follower count is directly correlated to their value as a person. So they're constantly striving for ways to get that number up. And a lot of that falls onto pranks. Every single day, there's a new hopeful prankster that does some extreme shit to try and get some clicks, and this is just the most recent example of it. It's so exhausting and frustrating. It's just so fucking sad. This guy 100% deserves to be arrested. I hope he faces some kind of serious charges for this. We finally need to just start really bringing the hammer down on disruptive, dangerous pranks like these. This is something that guy could have absolutely gotten, like, sick from. Like, it's an assault with, like, a fucking bioweapon here of dog shit and all kinds of other things in it. Like, you can't keep taking these things lightly just because they're portrayed as, like, pranks for views. It's fucking degenerate, and it's gone on too long now. For example, we had that guy in the UK who for months was just terrorizing people, like going into their homes, like the break-in and entering prank, shit like that. And no real serious charges were ever brought up, so it just continued to persist for too long. But anyway, wanted to talk about this douchebag a little bit here because I'll take any and every opportunity to put my shit in a bucket and throw it at an awful prankster like this. That's about it. See ya. Over the years, I've made fun of a lot of YouTube pranksters, but the truth is, they're risking a lot to make cringe. They really are putting their life on the line for the worst content on the site. There's already been like 5 or 6 major cases where YouTube pranksters have gotten themselves shot and killed. So it's like they're soldiers, but the only thing they fight for is clout. So I'm being genuine when I say that the bravery and commitment to put a smile on the face of absolutely nobody is admirable. And let me tell you, one thing I've learned about the YouTube prankster douchebags is no price is too high for them in the pursuit of attention, because they use mommy and daddy's credit card to buy everything for them for their content, all the gear they need. But one thing that's always sanded my ass is the fact that the pranksters themselves always seem extremely sensitive. So when they're doing their dog shit pranks and someone responds aggressively to it, they immediately fall back onto, it's just a prank, bro. You know, we're just goofing. Why are you getting all mad? You're overreacting, that kind of shit. They literally become a Pokemon and the only thing they can say is, it's just a prank, bro. And then they start to, like, try and shame the person for being upset. Even though some of the pranks are just downright crimes, like the fake stabbing prank where they go up to someone with a knife and pretend they're about to kill them, literally murder them. And then when the person gets like panicked or fights back, they're like, what are you doing? We're just kidding. It's just a joke. What are you? Oh my, this is so, you fucking goofball. We were just making a good TikTok video. It's just so embarrassing. Then watching the prankster try and play the victim here, they get offended that someone got upset at their prank. So today there's a video that's going viral from a prankster where he was doing some stupid shit on the beach. It's ultimately harmless, it's just not entertaining, like it's just a lame prank. But someone did respond negatively to it and ended up snatching the mic out of his hand and throwing it into the ocean. And the prankster got so butthurt about it that he called the police, and then the police took the guy's side who threw the mic, so then the prankster and his friend got trespassed, and he still won't stop fucking whining about it.
Sorry, I just seen you over here, and I just like thought I had to stop and just ask you if I could get your phone number. Sorry.
This is my husband.
Oh, I'm sorry, bro. I didn't realize you were your husband. I thought you were like your gay best friend or something. I'm sorry.
You're good, buddy.
Yeah. You guys have a good day. I'm sorry.
That's really the gist of this Galaxy Brain prank here. It's just wearing stupid shirts like your man is a pussy, or the other one they wear is threesome, and then they just go up to random people and say dumb shit. So in this one it was just hitting on this girl in front of her boyfriend slash husband.
I just seen you over here and I thought you were beautiful, and I was just wondering if I could have your phone number.
You want to get smacked right now?
Wait, are you with her?
You want to get smacked up right now?
Bro, no.
Back the fuck up, I'm gonna smack the fuck out of you.
Why?
You gonna around? Come here. Smack.
I didn't know, I'm sorry.
You think this is funny for TikTok?
Yeah. Can we just shake on it? I'm sorry.
So they just do a whole tour of the beach saying lame shit to a bunch of different people, trick-or-treating with cringe. A couple people fake a giggle and then just shoo them away like some kind of stray animal. And then a couple people respond negatively, like this guy and the previous guy, who are pretty tired of them just bothering everyone and being a general nuisance on the beach.
Camera and get the fuck out.
It was just a joke, sir.
You're bothering people.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
You want us to call the cops?
For what?
You're harassing people.
Was it because of my shirt?
No, dude, get out of here.
Hey, you can't.
His initial reaction here is a very sad self-defense coping mechanism. I know that's some armchair psychologist analysis of this situation, but god damn it, it's super clear. He is upset that his mic just got thrown in the ocean. That shit is expensive. And his first response is to try and sarcastically throw a temper tantrum so that way the guy knows it's not bothering him. That's why he's super over the top with that, like, sophomore year of high school drama club thespian kind of shit, you know, screaming. Which is even more embarrassing because, again, it's in public. There's a lot of people looking at him now. It's just so shameless. But anyway, a lot of brain rot takes came from this where people are saying, well, actually, the prankster's in the right. What just happened there was assault and battery. You can't just snatch something out of someone's hands and throw it away. That guy should have been arrested. Getting so upset over words that you'll assault somebody, it's sickening. And I've just got to tell you, that is some pussy shit. I'm going to hit you with the cold water. That is some bubble-blowing double baby Weenie Hut Jr. nonsense there. He was provoking people on the beach. The whole point of the content is to do these lame-ass incendiary pranks to try and get a rise out of strangers for the sake of your content to capitalize off the ad revenue. That's the entire gross little machine of clout that they try and peddle. So this guy just swooping in and throwing the mic in the ocean, I think is a totally fine response. Again, they started this shit and he just finished it. Now they're out $600. He didn't push anything too far. He didn't start throwing hands or like trying to poke their eyeballs out Captain Insano style. He just threw their mic in the ocean. You started some shit and this man came through and he cleaned it all up. Fed them their vegetables. And I understand the prankster's doing his best to mask his hurt feelings, but he quickly drops that facade.
I'm bleeding. This guy assaulted me. He took my mic, $600. Hey, you know, okay.
You're the one that's wearing the You're the Get the away from me right now.
We're either going to press charges or he has to pay me $600.
Damn, his whole tone and attitude really changed here. I think this is footage that you probably should have scrubbed from the video. This shouldn't have made the final cut because you're looking like a real whiny bitch right now with this part. You're threatening to press charges on this guy, the guy that you started bothering, and then you're asking for $600 to pay for the mic that he just ruined. You are the prankster. You have to accept some level of responsibility, right? The whole point of your gag is to make people upset at you. So you really can't be acting this way when something like this inevitably does happen. So I think that's some real goober shit. But I also want to point out something very important. This man's hairline. Now, he himself points this out in the beginning of the beach section, so he tries to wear his insecurity on his sleeve, but I'd like to really call attention to it real quick.
The thing that I hate about the beach, I don't have the best hairline, so me and the beach don't always get along, but ignore that, okay, guys?
How am I supposed to ignore this when I can hear the agonizing cries from your permed hair screaming out in pain from all the heavy lifting it's doing trying to hide your 40-year-old receding hairline? Especially with this facial hair combo going on here. You've got that chin strap beard, that fucking toilet seat fuzz going around. It does not work well when the wind blows in. That's gotta be your worst enemy here. I can now fully understand why you're not a huge fan of the beach, but honestly, anywhere the wind blows is pretty much going to be a battle between your hair and nature trying its best to show the public where your hairline actually starts. So I don't know if he treats the outside like a vampire refusing to go out in the sunlight because there might be a gust of wind that blows by, but goddamn. Now I know many of you might think I'm being awfully harsh here, but I truly think it's an invaluable service to insult people that do this kind of content because it's just lame and unacceptable. I hate that public nuisance content is becoming so trendy on TikTok in particular that a lot of these clout-obsessed losers feel that the best way to get fame and money online is by being as disruptive and as douchey as possible to just complete random strangers just trying to go about their day and enjoy their life. I hate that kind of content, so I really do think that insulting it is legitimately doing a good deed. Especially because it's so saturated when it comes to shit pranks that it's become a bit of an arms race where a lot of people just keep amplifying the danger of the prank, which is why people are getting shot doing them. In order to stand out, they have to be getting more and more extreme, which is leading to more and more dangerous pranks. So I really think this shit deserves to be insulted.
I was just out here filming a video, and a man assaulted me, and he ripped the microphone off my camera and threw it into the ocean.
You're more or less provoking somebody to make a move, and then you can report it, correct?
Actual fucking Giga Chad beach officer here. Fucking Paul Blart rolls up, and he's just like immediately calling him out on his shit. He's like, I know what this is. You're provoking people to get a rise so you can record it for your TikTok, right? And he's just like immediately hits the nail on the head, so much so that the prankster even puts in the, it was at this moment he knew he fucked up thing because the guy is privy to this kind of content. I imagine this isn't his first rodeo with douchebags like this, so he's just immediately going in on him.
I think I need repercussions for my damaged property. I mean,
Repercussions is what actually happened.
Hey, I wouldn't be a YouTuber if I was a great grammar. Okay, so it was just supposed to be a joke, and it got taken too far. I guess he got offended.
You guess he got offended?
God, that's so pathetic. Yeah, I guess he just got offended. Which is why I called the cops, like a little hall monitor. Yeah, you lost a $600 mic and it's your own fault, so take it on a chin like a man and move on. And this isn't your first rodeo with the law enforcement either. I've looked at a lot of the content. This is actually all him and his friends do. They go to places, they get trespassed, or they just straight up get arrested. In one of the videos, they got wrestled down by mall security and like roughed up. So his whole thing is just being a public nuisance and having situations like this, but still has the chutzpah to pretend to be a victim and is actually the one who called the cops. That is beyond embarrassing.
Yeah, what happens if he's having a bad day? It doesn't mean you go out and just assault people.
You're both being trespassed from this park. Have you ever been trespassed before?
Yes.
Shocking.
I'm banned from every Walmart in the world.
Is everyone getting trespassed or just us? Just the two.
You can hear the pride in his voice when he mentions they've been banned from every Walmart. They have been banned from multiple places, and they're so proud of that. I think that's so sad, the state of the world, where that's something to be happy about, that you're banned from a lot of places because you're such an insufferable little asshole who's driven by internet brownie points, that you're just going to be a disruptive piece of shit to complete random strangers. What the fuck is there to be happy about with that? The whole purpose is just sad. You exist just to make people around you a little less happy, just total strangers going about their day. You want to make their day just a little worse because you post it online because you're a little internet clown. That's just pathetic. Now, I think he's young. He looks young, but it's really hard to know for sure with a hairline like that. But hopefully there'll be a moment of self-awareness, like some self-reflection, and he comes to this come to Jesus moment where he's like, damn, all of this shit was so cringe. Like, that'd be the happy ending. That'd be the good ending there. It completely changes, like, damn, this was fucking stupid. What a waste. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to talk about this a little bit. That's about it. See ya. There was an embarrassingly stinky horror movie that dropped a few years ago called The Bye Bye Man. The tagline was "Don't think it, don't say it." And that's the whole concept of the movie. Don't think the Bye Bye Man, don't say the Bye Bye Man's name. Otherwise you summon him and give him powers and he's a real bad guy. I unironically view modern real-world pranksters in the same ways that movie viewed the Bye Bye Man. Just these evil people whom only care about people saying their name because it empowers them. Doesn't matter the context in which their name is used, it doesn't matter if people are shitting all over them, insulting them, doesn't matter. As long as their name is being uttered, they get like some kind of Kaioken times 10 boost and continue to make the worst fucking pranks of all time. And even though I know all they care about is people talking about them, I just don't have the strength to resist making fun of these clowns, these absolute losers. So I made a video a few days ago called The Worst Prankster Ever. And since then, a lot's happened. It's been going wacko mode right now with new developments in this story. But before getting into the new stuff, I'll go ahead and give you the brief previously on Dragon Ball Z recap. This is a TikTok prankster who's become known for just downright degenerate dogshit pranks, such as stealing people's pets, where one time he went to the park and walked up to a random old lady and stole her dog and ran away with it. Actual villain shit. His most famous prank is where he just barges into a random family's home while their tiny toddler children were home, probably scaring the fuck out of everyone there. And also making a big hubbub about the dad trying to get them out of the house, who was obviously very panicked. Like, actual breaking and entering pranks, like, that's something he did multiple times where he just go into random people's homes. Then, of course, there was the "Do you want to die" prank, where he'd just go up to random people, sometimes wearing a balaclava, and ask them if they want to die, and keep pestering them with that question, and then have one of his friends run up on them, also wearing a balaclava, which obviously startled them and made people run away, fucking soiling their britches. Punchline to that Galaxy Brain joke was, he wasn't talking about dying as in, like, slitting their throat and burying them 6 feet deep. He'd pull out, like, a thing of hair dye. So one of those awful, old-school, dog-shit YouTube pranks of you misinterpreted what I was saying, haha. But by then, most people had already ran away and shit their pants. Absolutely soiled their trousers, obviously. Another one, by far his most hilarious banger, blatant assault, where he just assaulted Orthodox Jews, which he did get arrested for briefly, but no real repercussions. I'm pretty sure they just sat him down and said, "Hey, that's not very good. Hey, be a little nicer out there, why don't you? All right, go on now. You're good to go." So he hasn't faced any real repercussions for any of this shit, even though most of it is blatant fucking crimes. Until recently. He got arrested again a few days ago, and people were really celebrating, like, it's finally here! You know, consequences for these actions. And it turns out he was fined 350 pounds. he got a light fine, barely even a slap on the wrist. 350 pounds is probably what he made from one dog-stealing prank video. So that meant nothing to him. Now, he did get arrested again today, and we're still waiting to see what comes from that. I imagine a big fucking nothing sandwich yet again, but it's worth mentioning he has been arrested again, but no idea, as of recording this video right now, as to what's going to come from there. But I imagine it's going to be like another $100 fine and a stern talking to, which of course means absolutely fucking nothing to him, just like the last time he was arrested and fined. In fact, he took a victory lap and wears it like a Boy Scout badge of honor. So he's talking about how great it was that he got arrested. He even just openly spits on the law, saying how weak the UK's laws are around his crimes. Which he's right about, I guess. They really aren't taking any of this shit seriously. And then he even gave himself his own little press tour in order to keep his name in people's mouths. So he went on Piers Morgan's show and got absolutely slapped. This is one of the most embarrassing 10 minutes of television ever broadcast. I've never watched Piers Morgan's show, but I know people make fun of him for it all the time. But this time around, the only person getting made fun of was Mizzy. Bringing Mizzy onto his show was a PR blessing. It was like the best thing he could have done for his public image. Because Mizzy was awful on here. He couldn't formulate a single real response to any of the criticism that's been tossed his way. He just started rambling about nonsense. He was like actually up there fucking fighting ghosts. It was horrible. It was so bad he himself couldn't spin it in a positive light when he was trying to brag to his audience of 4 9-year-olds that still haven't developed object permanence that for some reason cheer on his madness. He was even saying like, guys, look, just heads up, the Piers Morgan interview didn't go how I wanted it to. He himself recognized how awful he looked here. He looked fucking pathetic. He got embarrassed in front of everyone again. Even though his videos embarrass him enough, he still went on and made an even bigger fool of himself by even doing this to begin with. And then he had the audacity to start plugging his socials on the program as if anyone watching Piers fucking Morgan is going to watch your streams or your TikTok content. Delusional. Absolutely delusional. He's been trying so hard to catapult all of this villain infamy he's gained into a career, but he just keeps getting embarrassed at every step of the way. Rightfully so.
Jumping on Jewish people.
See, I was
right, who are already
Jewish people. Hold up, wait a minute,
well,
wait, no, stop.
You did.
Cool, it was a Jewish person, cool. But there was a trend going around on TikTok called 300. I've done this to numerous people, black people, white people, Asian, any types of people. I don't discriminate. So don't stop saying Orthodox Jewish person like I only targeted him and it was only him that I went for.
Why are you targeting anybody in that
Well,
manner?
what do you mean, why am I targeting anyone? It was a trend. It was a trend. I just done it for a trend.
This is him talking about the assault prank, and I think it's a very interesting look at the completely distorted reality Mizzy lives in, where because something was a trend, that means that it's totally justifiable that he did it. It's still assault. What happens in the video, I'm not going to show it. He jumps on the Jewish man, which pushes him into the road and obviously scares the fuck out of him. And he very realistically could have been hit by a car, like 100%. You push this guy, basically, by jumping on top of him. Anything could have happened from there. That could have been an absolute fucking disaster. It's still assault. And he seems to be hung up on the details, like, it had nothing to do with him being Jewish, you know? I've done this to a ton of people. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that he had done this so many times, so he must be notorious for fucking assault pranks, I guess. A big self-report there, if you ask me. But what I find so interesting about this is that Mizzy only focuses on the fact that he does this to more than just Jewish people. This wasn't just against Jewish people. Instead of just recognizing that assault is bad, whether or not it's a trend. Like, he doesn't have any regret for doing it. He just keeps writing it off as like, it's okay, it was a trend. But I'm tired of people thinking that I'm anti-Semitic and only targeting Jews. I assault everyone equally. That's fucking crazy. Just because it may have been a trend doesn't mean that it was a good thing to do. Yet, in Mizzy's mind, he thinks it's totally fine and people shouldn't have a problem because he was just following a trend, which is fucking weird.
Not necessarily, but you could say that this whole public outroar just makes me laugh because people are getting hurt over something that didn't happen to them. And that's how I see it as.
This is a point he's very adamant about. He thinks people don't have the right to be upset at him since they weren't direct victims of his pranks. So he lacks, like, basic empathy, I guess. People are just calling you out for being a douchebag. Your pranks suck. And they terrorize, like, actual normal people in the real world out there, just complete strangers that you're treating like props to scare for your TikTok clout because your brain's been fucking rotted and poisoned by this desperate desire for attention and validation online. Like, it has nothing to do with people feeling like they are personally a victim for having watched it. It's just the basic understanding of, man, I feel bad for all of the people in these videos that you keep tormenting with this garbage. Like, that's such an easy thing to wrap your head around for most people, I imagine, but not Mizzy. Mizzy thinks that unless you're a direct victim of it, you shouldn't be saying anything about it to begin with.
I went to go apologize off social media. I could have recorded that apology and that would have been another viral video, whether it's hate or whatever. Literally, hate brings money, hate brings likes, hate brings views. It doesn't matter. Love or hate, it still brings views.
Why do you prefer to do the hateful stuff?
It's not like I prefer to do the hateful stuff. It's just like it's easier to do the hateful stuff.
Why are you laughing?
And
it's fun?
obviously, I don't think it's fun, but you're a funny person.
You do think it's funny?
You're a funny person.
You do. I've seen the videos. You do
Obviously,
think it's just really funny.
At the time, I think it's funny. My fan base thinks it's funny, and it's we outside, innit? It's a movement.
Now, this is the last clip from the interview I want to show here. I also want to briefly go back to the dog stealing pranks. Apparently, he does give the dogs back, but it's not like that cures the trauma of the situation. I just want to make that clear. But he says something here where, like, he'll want to apologize off camera, and he could also film it if he wanted to and post those as well. But first of all, I don't believe he's ever really apologized to anyone genuinely. I think he's never shown any real remorse for any of his actions. I don't think he cares at all about other people. I think he views the world as NPCs to exploit for his own TikTok clout. So I really don't think he's ever wanted to apologize. But then he said he could film it and post it if he wanted to for more content, and then goes into talking about how the content he does make right now, the very mean-spirited content that generates like a bunch of hate online and shit, is easy for him, which is why he does it, because it's all views and it's all engagement, which is all he cares about. And that's a very honest look at a completely brain-rotted, terminally online person's perspective of what value is in life, where the only thing he cares about is that engagement that content is bringing him. That is the only purpose he has found, which I think is absolutely sad. Like, genuinely pathetic. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to give a little update to this whole situation because a lot's been going on with it. He's definitely the prankster most people are keeping their eye on because he has literally been filming crimes. He has been gathering his own evidence against himself, and yet the authorities have still done absolutely nothing to stop him from doing this shit. So, like I said, he got arrested again today, and as of recording this, don't know what's going to come from it, but anyway, that's about it. See ya. Merry Christmas! Tomorrow's the big day. I heard Santa Claus got a BBL this year, so I hope you've got the XL chimney so he can squeeze those playful butt cheeks down there and deliver his special presents for you that you've been asking for. And I even heard from a reliable little helper of his that if you leave goof juice out instead of milk and cookies, old St. Nicholas will be extra happy and might leave you bonus presents. And what if I told you that jolly old son of a bitch done paid me a visit a little early before Christmas with a gift that just can't help but put a smile on my face? A douchebag prankster just got arrested and is facing a Class 6 felony. This is the gift we've all been asking for. 'Tis the season, and they always say it's better to give than to receive. And this one brain-dead idiot fucking turbo moron prankster decided to give random people in a Walmart grocery aisle poison. Yes, spraying food with bug spray. This guy's good. He's got talent. I'm sure I don't need to educate you that bug spray isn't a safe thing to be consuming. It's literally poison. You could get very ill if you had consumed any of the food that he had sprayed with this. I don't know how someone gets this stupid. I actually don't know how that's possible. You could be chewing on raw plutonium and I don't think it could rot your brain as much as clout does. Like, this guy, his whole Instagram page is nothing but, like, committing crimes for some internet updoots. I'll go over some of his other recent stinkers here in just a moment, but I have to focus on this for a little bit here because this is unbelievable. It seems like he got inspiration from the Tylenol murderer. You remember the Tylenol murders? Well, I'm guessing this degenerate must have viewed that guy as a prankster. I'm sure all of you know the Tylenol murders, but just in case, I'll drop a quick lore recap on it. Many moons ago, there was a villain who swapped out Tylenol capsules for cyanide and then put the bottles back on the shelf. Buyers bought them, obviously not knowing they'd been tampered with, took them, and some people died from it. This is that same DNA. He is actually just poisoning strangers. He is tampering with their food with literal poison, and that's the content. Now, real quick, let's just set everything else aside here. Just throw it all into the shitter for a moment. Who watches these videos? Who is the audience? There is nothing to even be entertained by. Let's say he wasn't using poison. Let's say he walked up to the food and he sprayed it with cologne, or he sprayed it with fart spray, so it smells all yucky like ass. Well, there's still no video there. Like, what is there to even kick your feet up at? He walks up, he sprays a little bit on it, he just spritzes it, and then he walks away. That's the whole video. What do you even get entertained by? Like, who watches it? I don't know. Like, how lobotomized could you possibly be? It is just the most boring turd burger garbage ever. Nothing is even happening in the video. Like, do you also throw your hands up when you're riding the escalator from the thrill of movement? Like, just watch some fucking jingling keys at that point. Holy Lord, it makes no sense. So even if he wasn't using poison, if he was just using anything else, it would still just be a trash video and a terrible prank. I don't understand who even watches this. Like, I can almost wrap my noodle around kids being entertained by douchebags harassing people in public, because they'd look at that and be like, whoa, he's bad. He's being so naughty, holy shit. But this, and this guy's whole page, which has hundreds of thousands of followers, is just another level of incomprehensible, embarrassing hoopla. Like, it's painful. If you tried to train AI on this guy's pranks, the AI would probably kill itself because it wouldn't want to subject itself to more torture and being trained on these kind of pranks. Anyway though, Goofball's being charged with 3 different crimes: a class 6 felony, introducing poison, and 2 misdemeanors, criminal damage and endangerment. From what I understand, he could face between 5 to 20 years from what I've read for this. I am hoping they don't play softball here. There needs to be some kind of precedent set that you can't just fucking poison people for a prank. Like, come on. So what happened is he filmed himself grabbing a can of bug killer, which was Hot Shot Ultra Bed Bug and Flea Killer. Then he sprayed it on fruit, vegetables, and cooked chicken. He didn't pay for the chemical spray or the contaminated food, and then he left. Apparently he had posted the video and was shocked by the reaction that people had to it. They weren't too pleased with what he'd done. According to police, once he left, he began to see comments online saying how horrible the act was, and he decided to return and collect the items. What a saint. Now, before the charges were filed, apparently the fresh food was thrown away right after, and no one was poisoned, which is actually a miracle, because there was quite a bit of time that passed between him spraying the shit with poison and leaving the store. The defendant returned about 10 minutes after he sprayed the items and attempted to collect the items he had sprayed, placed them in a shopping cart, and wheeled them back to the rear of the store to try and prevent people from taking the contaminated items. Mind you, he would not have gone back in if people didn't tell him to. If people weren't telling him that he might potentially kill somebody with this, he would have never gone back in, and people would have taken those items none the wiser and probably gotten very, very sick because, well, surprise, ingesting poison's not that good for you. And 10 minutes is a good bit of time to have passed with those contaminated items on the shelves. I can ejaculate like 3 or 4 times in 10 minutes. It's reasonable to assume that within that time frame, someone might have come in and taken one of those items and gotten super sick from it. This guy has a fucking chug jug of idiot potion at his house, and he is drinking that every single evening. How can you be so dumb that you didn't recognize that spraying poison on food can hurt people? And how could you have possibly thought even your dumbest members of your audience would think that that was a good prank? So yeah, this isn't like a small whoopsie-daisy type thing. This is something that he really needs to face real repercussions for. There needs to be an example made out of someone that does shit like this. At some point, like, we have to come together and say enough is enough. Now, TikTokers and Instagram losers are poisoning people for content. Like, there's gotta be a point where you're like, okay, we're not going to play softball. You're going to get the 5 to 10 years. Because that's what he's facing from what I've read. It's like a 5 to 10 year potential sentence. And he should absolutely get it. He should not be able to get off easy for this. Before showing you some more of his dog shit, I'd like to show you something that's probably going to make you even more furious at this guy. He admitted that he can earn between $6,000 to $10,000 a month for doing acts like these and posting them on social media. He is making substantially more money than most people working right now, just from going out there attempting to poison strangers or harassing workers or just harassing people going about their day-to-day life. I only learned about this douchebag from him being arrested, but even still, I actually gave him the benefit of the doubt on a few of these that they might be fake. But they're not. In this case, I thought what might have happened here is he filmed this random stranger putting his laundry in the washing machine, and then when he put the bacon and eggs into the clothes during the cycle, he actually didn't put it into that guy, the stranger's clothes, he put it into like his own clothes at one of a different washing machine. Which would still ruin the washing machine too, like that still would be destructive, but wouldn't be nearly as bad as just ruining this man's night, ruining his clothes at the laundromat. But what an imbecile I was for thinking that this guy might not be a gigantic asshole all of the time. His whole purpose is just making strangers' lives miserable for his content. He actually did just completely fuck this guy in the face, ruining his laundry, and you can confirm this because the guy comes in and puts his clothes in washing machine number 19, engages the cycle, and walks away. Then this douchebag comes over with the bacon and eggs, throws it into washing machine number 19, and re-engages the cycle. And you can see it right at the end that, yep, it's number 19 that he came in and just completely ruined. This is one of his shorter ones where he nearly performs a halo assassination here on this worker that's cleaning off a bench. So he jumps on him from the top turnbuckle here while he is cleaning and could have easily have broken this guy's arm. He was cleaning the table and then jumps on the area where he is still actively cleaning. If he had stretched his hand out even an inch further, he would have had his hand broken, finger broken, or arm broken.
Doing a good job.
This is his bread and butter content. This is his favorite thing in the world. He loves fucking with fast food workers. He doesn't even treat them like human beings. He treats them as less than NPCs. The way he treats fast food workers is worse than how people treat civilians in Skyrim. This guy has so many videos jumping the counter, harassing the workers. He is at his happiest when fast food workers are at their most miserable because of him. Oh, it's his favorite thing in the world. He loves it. In fact, he needs it, really. Like a plant needs the sun. He photosynthesizes fast food workers' agony into his dopamine. He has so many videos being a complete insufferable asshole to fast food workers.
What's tacos and the egg roll? Hey!
A bathroom?
Bathroom 7287.
What can I get for you? On a burrito? I got you.
This guy super sucks. You get the idea. I don't need to keep showing you a montage of his degeneracy. I'm just hoping, with fingers crossed, he gets the book thrown at him, because he should. His most recent prank would literally have injured a lot of people in a big way. I don't know if it would have necessarily killed them, depending on the amount he sprayed, I guess, but it would have been very detrimental to the health of people that consumed his poisoned products that he made for his Instagram content. It's so trash, and he deserves to go to jail for a long time because of it. Also, this loser apparently describes himself as a supervillain, so he's really proud of what he does. Could there be anything more corny than to call yourself a supervillain? What a loser! What an absolute fucking dweeb! So yeah, I really wanted to talk about this a little bit. That's about it. So yeah. I don't like attempted murder. I said it. Go ahead, dry your tears. I'm not taking it back. I'm not going to censor myself. I don't care whose feathers get ruffled by that take. I don't like attempted murderers. And by extension, I don't like successful murderers either. But today I saw a video of some pranksters, I think. I don't even know. Just some downright losers who treated attempted murder as content. One guy, Mr. Olympiad, a giant chair, like a really heavy chair, and then threw it off the 3rd floor of a mall where it plummeted 3 stories down, nearly hitting bystanders at the bottom. Which, if it did hit them, absolutely would have killed them.
Go, go, yalla. Yalla. There's no way this guy's doing it. Allah.
What the fuck is it?
That sound that the cameraman makes is the exact sound Bart makes when Homer strangles him. That is just one of the worst sounds I've ever heard a human being make. It sounds like he's being waterboarded in honey, like really thick, and he's just gargling it up. The caption saying, "No way bro almost killed someone, nah," with the crying laughing emojis is just diabolical. It's just evil. I'm sure their reaction would have been exactly the same if that did go down there and just fucking blow somebody up. If someone did die from that, I'm sure the caption would have just been tweaked a little bit like, "Bro just killed somebody, what a menace," laughing crying emoji. It's to this point where people like this that grow up with social media convincing them that everyone around them is an NPC to exploit and use for content, it just makes them believe that everyone around them is just not even real. Like, they're not even human beings. So if someone died there, shit, that's just more content for them. It's really scary.
Cody, Cody. Cody. Oh, no, no, Cody. What the hell is this? Come on. There's no way I did that.
That's where it stops. He is in disbelief he did that, nearly killing people for this stunt. It's not a stunt. He just grabbed a heavy object and threw it over the railing at the mall. What the fuck? This happened at Westfield Stratford, and from what I've read, police are investigating it. But I'm at the point where I just have no faith in authorities to ever actually punish people that do this shit harshly. Like, pranksters get to run rampant, like, just being a complete nuisance, hurting people, harassing people, in this case, nearly fucking killing people. And it's just to the point that I really think we need to be a lot harder on it, because that 100% should be attempted murder. Look at how close it was to hitting the people down below there. That's like dropping a fucking anvil out of a cartoon on somebody, but it's real life. That is just going to flatten them. If they survive, it would be a miracle, and they would 100% be suffering from permanent debilitating injuries, most likely some kind of paralysis. But the most likely outcome is they would have died if that hit them, and it was very close to hitting them. It immediately reminded me of those people that were throwing rocks over the interstate and ended up killing people from it. So I looked into it because I never remembered the aftermath. Well, in both cases where someone was murdered by the rock throwing over the interstate, they got off pretty easy. Like, there was a little bit of jail time, but everyone involved in those rock-throwing interstate murders, they're all free now. I think that sucks. Like, I understand they were kids doing that, but kids know how dangerous that is. Part of the game was causing damage to the vehicles. They just didn't expect someone to die from it. Like, they know how dangerous that is. So the excuse of, oh, they're kids, they don't know any better, just doesn't fly. Because they obviously know. That was like the whole point of the game, is causing damage and pain. Like, why is that not more harshly punished? And they were, like, they attempted to try them as adults, but it got overturned. I'm not here to get into the nitty-gritty of those cases, but the point is, why are we not harder on shit like this? In this video, we just saw them nearly kill people, and they recognize that, and to them, it's just a big joke. People's lives don't mean anything to them. It's just a laughing matter to them. Like, it's not Looney Tunes. It's not like a piano falling on somebody's head in Looney Tunes where you see stars and you have piano key teeth. They almost just killed people. Like, I really hope that this investigation that they're conducting to find them results in a very serious sentencing. Big update as I was making this video. 15 minutes ago, this was published, stating that 2 teenagers have been arrested after a viral video showed a chair being launched from a 3rd-floor balcony at Stratford Westfield, narrowly missing shoppers on Saturday. Police said a 14-year-old and 16-year-old boy were arrested on suspicion of criminal damage after a heavy seat was thrown from the shopping center's 3rd floor. That's good they've been arrested, and now it's time to actually make an example out of this. You might remember a year or so ago, actually I don't remember how long it's been now, there was a prankster who was terrorizing the UK, breaking into houses, attacking people, jumping on people, threatening people, stealing people's dogs, and that prankster got arrested like 5 times, and every single time they just let him go. No slap on the wrist, no real consequences at all, and that prankster was well aware of it, even just openly mocking authorities for how light they were on everything he was doing. Eventually, they actually did give him, I think it was an 18-week prison sentence, and when he finished that, guess what? He stopped doing it. I just checked on him a moment ago, just going through his Instagram, and it seems like he has actually turned his life around, and he is trying to be better. He's just now celebrating his ability to drive a car, saying no more breaking into people's houses. So it looks like, and who would imagine, if you actually punish people for really shitty behavior like this, it helps not only everyone around them, but the person themselves. So in this case, I know they're kids, but they knew that this could kill people, and they didn't care. This should be treated with the severity that it warrants. It was risking innocent people's lives. So there is no benefit to just taking it easy on them because, oh, they didn't know any better. They did. They absolutely did. They even say that they did, recognizing that people could have died. So I think it stands to reason that this should be something they take very, very seriously. Not just a slap on a wrist. Not just a $200 fine because you hurt that chair and, well, there was a little damage to the floor. And don't do it again while shaking your finger at them. None of that shit. I really think this should be a time to make an example. Like, no more of this, we're going to crack down on it. Because, as has been shown, if you let them just keep getting away with doing shit like this that jeopardizes the safety of others, they're going to keep doing it because it's big on social media. By just letting pranksters fucking steamroll you and letting them just go hog wild, it's bad for everybody. I really think that Mizzy, that's the prankster I referenced earlier, is a great example for how, when you do actually finally give repercussions for this kind of shit, it's a beautiful deterrent that stops others from trying to emulate it, and it also helps that person to recognize how unacceptable it is, and they become better for it. So I know I've been yapping about this for a while, but it's just so fucking frustrating to see the dangerous kind of shit that continues to just escalate, it seems. So, they arrested them. Good. Now, don't just let it be a nothing burger. This needs to be a time to set an example that this kind of shit is not okay. Yes, it was extremely lucky and fortunate no one died in this, but who's to say that it won't lead to a death the next time they do some unhinged shit like this? So, yeah, that's really about it. See ya.